Boom.
Boosh! Yes. What's good, everybody? You know what time it is. Got my Dumbo coffee going on. Clout Chaser's back. They said he were done. They said he were gone. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. He's in, he's on, he's over here. Quick shit vid. What's good, everybody? Fluff in my way. Fluff it away. Spin her off. Spin her in. Whip around. Hanging about. What's good? Went on Just Joe yesterday again. Shout out to Just Joe again. It was a great panel. Some great lads on there there were. So yeah, enjoyed it in full swing. So go check that out. Shout out to Just Joe. Brilliant performance on Saturday. I was in the West Stand as discussed. Had a few slippers. Totally dominant, weren't we? It was quite hard to process the game like in the ground. I sometimes think when you're watching it on TV, when it's such a dominant performance, everybody was sort of like in the ground, just like having conversations. It was like a Weatherspoons. It was like everybody was so relaxed, which is, you know, a good thing in a sense, and you know, means that everybody's sort of behind my man Facky each week. So you know, it's good stuff. Good that everybody that came on was mint as well. So like Cresswell came on, which obviously, you know, there's been a lot of shit about Cresswell, whether he's ever going to get back inside, and he came on. Apparently, Farker were going absolutely ding though. He gave a free kick away on edge at box, and apparently lost his shit a bit. We were talking yesterday on podcast about my man Facker and whether he's, you know, like he is light-hearted with players or pretty full on, and we think we came to a consensus that he's quite firm with them. I think he'll be proper all over them, like proper standards up to a certain standard that has to be met. And I think he actually keeps players out of the side. You know, he does punish players to some extent, but gives them a route back into the team. And obviously, like with Jed Spence and stuff, that didn't work out, and then he ships them on. So he's I think he's quite ruthless with it, which I like. Byram came on, but Byram's picked up an injury, which is horrendous again for him. It's only apparently a little niggle, this. It's in his hamstring, but he's had a hamstring injury, but it's his other leg now. So but it is apparently only a little niggle, and obviously with us playing Swansea tomorrow, he won't be available. Peru came on, that new gadget Roberts came on, Joseph came on. So the squad looks really good coming off at bench. It was brilliant. Roberts went flying into a big tackle out on the other side to us, but it was a big tackle and Leeds fans got well behind it, and we were total domination at that point, but he was still flying in, getting the boys on side. He knows what he's doing. Bamford, obviously, with that handball. I thought the celebration were a bit risky, you know, because obviously he definitely elbows it in, which I'm all for. I don't care how they go in. There's been loads of memes going around Twitter about, you know, Maradona with Bamford on her, which is pretty funny, punching it in. But yeah, he sort of celebrated with his elbow, and I thought, you are sort of telling the ref there that you did handball it. I don't know how far back they can go, but if there was any like doubt in Liner's mind, and then he does that, you'd go, he's handballed it. Somerville, obviously brilliant penalty as well. That Nonto challenge, interesting. Everybody's sort of shouting for a pen. I don't know if it's slightly outside at box or what. It's everybody's thoughts. It's a risky one. Definitely not a goal kick though, which got given, which is a bit wild. But again, it sort of goes under the radar because we were so dominant. Firpo, we spoke about on stream yesterday, like he looks so good going forward. And just Joe mentioned that his stats are actually, you know, in terms of like tackles won and stuff, they're actually better than Byram's. I don't really know how that correlates because Byram seems to be the man, doesn't he? Left back like solid as a rock, but them stats don't lie. So we're 1 point off Southampton. Pushing big time now. They've got Bristol tomorrow and then West Brom on Friday. So my man Corberan can do us a favour on Friday, can't he? I reckon we could be in that second spot by Sunday. So that's where I'm living. Boosh! We're going up, boy! We're going up! So, Dan James is back. I don't know if I mentioned that for Swansea on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Couple of like games are flying in now. Then we've got Plymouth again on Saturday. I'm getting a bit bored of playing Plymouth. And then Leicester on Friday, which is a big one. And then obviously it's Chelsea away. 49ers missed out on Super Bowl last night, which I was actually a bit gutted about. I watched Super Bowl last night. It was good. I like Super Bowl finals. Sometimes I pick it up through the season and I sort of follow who's winning and who's not on that. But I don't really get the league system. I don't really get how it filters through. But I actually like the game. And like, you know, I do like the halftime. Obviously, I like my music and that. And I'm not the most mentally big Usher fan, but you know, I was all for that. And he brought Ludacris out and Alicia Keys and stuff. So you know, But we're not here to talk about the half-time show, are we, boys? But yeah, it was a bit of a shame that 49ers didn't win, because it'd have been good, and I think they'd have probably done something at Ellen Road, wouldn't they? It did say, like, I was sort of like in the zone, having a pint and a pizza in house. I was a bit tipsy, chomping on some pizza, and they went, oh, and these are the scenes in Leeds, and obviously this American bloke said it, and I was like, hey, and they're all in Ellen Road, like jumping about, like when they got a touchdown and stuff. So pretty funny, really, putting us on the map, boy. They're talking about 10 to 15 million for Rodon, so it's got me thinking. So which would be proper mint business, wouldn't it? Now, can we sign Rodon? A lot of people saying he's too good for Leeds, all this stuff. I'm comparing him to Ben White. Right, I'm going to do my best to articulate myself here. I don't know if Rodon's better than Ben White. I don't think Rodon is better than Ben White, to clear that up. Ben White was at Brighton. If Rodon was at Brighton, we could be in a bit of a similar situation to Ben White. We tried to sign Ben White, but he went back to Brighton and went straight into the side as a player, didn't he? And they knew we were going to play him all year and then try and ship him on the year after. That'll have been the grand old plan. If Ben White played for Tottenham, and then Ben White was to go back to Tottenham after the year he had, like Rodon's having, I don't know. Maybe if Ben White is significantly better than Rodon, maybe Ben White does go straight into the Tottenham side. But I don't know if Rodon goes back to Tottenham at the end of the year and gets straight in the side. I personally don't think he does. That's why I think Ben White is probably better than Rodon. It's not the Ben White versus Rodon show either. I don't really care. I think Rodon's a beast, and I absolutely love him, and I want us to sign him. But that's why I think we've got a solid chance of signing him. I think if we don't go up, there might be a few teams lower down in the Premier League, so bottom 10 club or sort of 8 down might have a look at him. But 10 to 15 million is enough to put off people in the Premier League at the moment. There's apparently some talks that some Premier League teams wanted him in January, but they weren't willing to pay that. Now, I think we would pay that because I think we see the appeal in him. But basically, my point is, the reason why that it will stay around that million mark, that 15 million mark, is because Tottenham don't want him effectively. He's not going to get in their side. And Levy is a pretty shrewd businessman, isn't he, to be fair to him. So what's everybody's thoughts on that? I hope I have said what I meant. I don't watch these back, so I'll never know whether I do. Follow me on Twitter, JackCity Music. Kamara came up as well in the live stream yesterday, which was a mint chat. Everybody weighed in with some pretty mint points. I just want to quickly say what I said. So Kamara, for me, is like just so solid. It's kind of to his detriment. So he's 7 or 8 out of 10 guaranteed. I don't think he's going to get the eyeballs that he should be getting, really, or even the praise that he's getting. But he's just plodding along, and everybody knows he's doing that job. I'm not suggesting nobody doesn't know, but he does a lot of the dog work, a lot of the ugly stuff. He's quite good on the ball. His passing's good and stuff, obviously, but you know he's not taking shots on, but which is a positive thing. Like one of the lads mentioned yesterday that you know there is a shot on, and he keeps the ball moving. He's not, you know, he's a proper centre midfielder that wants the best for the team. He's not selfish even remotely. Works his nuts off, you know, strong, everything really. But my point was yesterday, which I want to reiterate, his role, I think, has changed a bit since Ampadu's gone into centre-back role. So originally it was Ampadu and Kamara, and they sort of shared that role where they'd maybe swap a little bit. Ampadu probably, majority of the time, was a little bit deeper. But I think since Gruev's comes into the side, Gruev's sitting significantly deeper, which I really like Gruev, but it's the only slight criticism I have, not particularly of Gruev, and we're winning games, so I don't care. I don't want anybody to think I'm dissing Gruev, because I'm certainly not. But when you're going and getting it off at centre-backs, I just think sometimes we're wasting sort of 5 or 10 yards there. But when we were so dominant and we were all on edge at box, it's totally fine. You can come get it in them areas. But I think when we play against better sides who are pushing forward a little bit more, if he comes and get it off the centre-back, Rodon and Ampadu can play them passes. So we don't really need, unless he's pinging it, which is obviously fair enough, come and get it and switch play or whatever. If he's just playing little balls in there, I don't know whether we should just leave that to Rodon and Ampadu. Do you get me? Ampadu played in that centre midfield role, making them passes anyway. So we don't really need a centre midfielder to come and get it off him and play them passes. Only against the better sides, I think that could potentially present as a problem. Kamara, now that Gruev is always going deep, has actually had to advance quite a lot more, so that, you know, it's become more of a line going forward rather than a 2 or like a staggered, like, you know, step Christmas tree jobby. So it's a line now, really. And Kamara's finding himself much more further forward a lot more often, which I don't think suits him 100%. But again, that's the sign of the quality of the man, because he's now playing, I think, a slightly different role in the side with Gruev there, and his performance hasn't altered whatsoever. Follow me on Twitter. Just want to do a quick shout out to Mark McEddy, or Mark MK Eddy. I tried to find him on Twitter. He said he followed me on Twitter, but so if you see this, tweet me, dude, and you'll get your proper shout out, because I don't know if it is Mark McEddy. I was desperate for a piss when I saw you, and I ran into Peacock, and we had a brief chat, but I was literally going to piss my pants, so I was in a mad rush. But yeah, take it easy, everybody. Follow me on Twitter. If you want to check my music out, it's much appreciated. Peace.
The way they've been, the results they've had, 1 defeat in 13. I've got Muppets from Leeds talking about pressures on us, and Bamford and Forshaw and a couple of others, and it's over to you and this, that and the other. They got beat 7 times since Christmas. We've been beaten once. We've set it up from Christmas to be in the race.
Boom.
JackCity, bitch! JackCity, bitch! Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask no.